On December 25th, I was told by a family member that she was sex trafficked as a child. I paused for a minute because I wanted to make sure I heard her correctly. And I said, "Wait, what did you say?" She said, "Yes. I went on plenty of diesel rides." She was sex trafficked by our babysitter. I was outraged. The rumination was hectic and bombarded my thoughts. I just wanted revenge. I fell into depression for months, and the chronic pain in my body came back from the fibromyalgia that I battled. I wanted to find our babysitter and make her pay. The thoughts in my mind of how must she have felt? Why couldn't we protect her? Why didn't she say anything? Every night I quoted a scripture in Philippians 4:8 that says, "Whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are holy, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are lovely, think on these things." You see, I'm just one statistic that unforgiveness makes one sick. There's a scripture that says that bitterness decays the bones. And we have the power and the ability, whether we choose to forgive or not forgive. But here today, I want to say our life depends on it, literally. Dr. Stephen Standiford from the Cancer Treatment of America said that refusing to forgive makes people sick and keeps them that way. It's truth. Chardonnay, 2020. He also said that in the medical books, it's classified as a disease, Collin 2015. The understanding of unforgiveness and bitterness is unresolved anger, according to LaHaye and Phillips, 1982. Statistics show that people that forgive have a lower blood pressure, Larson 2012. This was given in a podcast by a psychiatrist, Dr. David Puder, He's an MD. And one of the things that was said is that unforgiveness and bitterness is when we recall something that happened to us, an offense or an experience, we're more likely to have a higher blood pressure and a higher cardiovascular reactivity. Now, another statistic was that those that hold on to hostility 20 to 25 years later down the road, they face heart disease. They are higher at rates of heart disease. And so those are some things to consider when we choose to unforgive. Dr. Michael Berry, a pastor and author of the Forgiveness Project, the book, said that of all cancer patients, 61% have forgiveness issues. And more than half of those 61% are severe issues. Harboring these negative emotions and anger and hatred creates chronic anxiety, he said. Chronic anxiety releases excess adrenaline and cortisol, which is bad for our health. It's also the cortisol that depletes the production of the fighting cells that protect us, the natural killer cells, which is our body's protection against cancer. But this is not just for cancer patients. This applies to everyone, he said. What is unforgiveness? Unforgiveness is the unwillingness to forgive. According to Worthington and Wade, unforgiveness is defined as specifically delayed emotion, resentment, anger, hostility, bitterness after ruminating from being hurt. Ruminating is a deep thought process that occurs in our minds, and it continues. It's like, it reminds me of a scripture that says that it wars in your mind and it wins. That was my experience from December 25th all the way until mid-March. I battled. I just couldn't get over what was said to me. Why couldn't I protect her? I didn't want to forgive. I had the right not to forgive. The development of unforgiveness is hypothesized to involve rumination about the nature of hurt or offense. Barry, Worthington, Patriot, O'Connor, Wade in 2001. See, I read a book in one of my courses that I was taking back in March by Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of a Highly Effective Person. And one of the things that he says in one of his chapters is to be proactive, and he has a proactive model. But he said, be proactive, not reactive, because reactive people act on their feelings, and proactive people act on their values. Proactive people unconsciously and consciously act on their values. A reactive person behaves according to they're given away by their emotion of others empowering the weakness to control them. So here, I want to share with you a visual aid of the brain. You can see it there. The frontal cortex is where we make decisions. It's where we have memory, judgment, where we communicate, or our personality. It's the fight, flight, or freeze that reacts there. The amygdala sends signals of our emotions, and when we are heightened in emotions with stress and anger, unforgiveness, and bitterness, those are releasing the negative cortisol, which keeps us heightened on alert. And after a long period of choosing not to forgive, well, you got it. Our brain is not only affected, we lose sleep, we fall into depression, we fall into many chronic pain, cardiovascular issues, and all this starts here in our thinking, the rumination. It wars in our minds, but we've got to prevent it from winning. Forgiveness is important. Evidence suggests that health could be promoted both by increasing forgiveness and decreasing unforgiveness. Toussaint, Worthington, and Williams, 2015. You see, what can happen if we choose not to forgive? Bitterness will set in. And what is bitterness? It's decay to our bones, according to the scripture, Maxwell, 2008. We have a choice. We have the ability and the power to not allow someone to get the best of us and a rumination take place in our mind where it destroys our health, our sleep. It takes our power away. R.T. Kendall, in his book, Total Forgiveness, said, forgiving is not approval of what someone did. It's not excusing. It's not forgetting. It's not pardoning. And it's not justifying. Forgiveness is a process. Forgiveness is the key for better mental and physical health. Be proactive. Again, proactive thinking prevents us from reacting negatively and keeps us healthy. You do not need to practice any type of religion or have a relationship with God to forgive. Forgiveness applies to all of us in mind and body. It's our free will. Thank you.